Welcome to a couple of bunkies. I've been attempting to make new videos incorporating our laser engraver, and one video that I thought would be a good one is making some stamps. I was able to find this rubber mat on Amazon that's able to be cut with a laser. Now I'm going to have to change my video logo. So when engraving with the laser engraver, it removes material. So instead of highlighting all the areas that I want to see in white, I need to highlight everything in dark. The darker the color, the more it will remove that material. And eventually I need to mirror this image since I'm using the face in order to use it as a stamp. And I need to make the background black. Looking back on this, I should have used a circle since I'm making a wooden holder. And of course I need to touch up any of the areas so there's no artifacts left on the print. We have an affiliate link with Monport Laser, where you can get 10% off all of Monport's machines. Use the link below and use the promo code Timothy10 at checkout. Now I use the roster engrave setting. This engraves any of the blacks and grays. I would suggest to put this on a lower setting or a higher speed and use it twice in order to have a deep cut with no burns. Now I use the roster engrave setting. And this is our second round, just so it is a nice deep cut. You really want real high highs and real low lows when you're doing a stamp. I use the vector cut setting. This follows any of the red lines that I had made on the art. I ended up doing this twice because it was on a very low power level. Now in a previous video I had made a baby crib for my son. And I had used our legacy ornamental mill in order to make this bead design. And I had some leftover spindles from this project. So I decided to incorporate it into the handle for my stamp. Consider going and watching our baby crib video. It was a really good one. And if you're not familiar with a legacy ornamental mill, check out some of my other videos where I use it. I'll leave some links around the description. And here's a small snippet from the baby crib video where I create this bead design so I could use it on each of the spindles. Then I took each of the blanks to the legacy ornamental mill and started creating a bead design. I ended up doing a live stream in the shop while doing this bead design. I set up the legacy ornamental mill with two cranks, one moving in the Y direction every 4 turns equaling 1 inch, and the other one rotating the spindle. The x-axis is controlled by the knob on the gantry. I was able to keep the project on the legacy ornamental mill in order to sand it and to apply the first coat of polyurethane. After letting these spindles dry, I ended up making a dunk tank for my polyurethane in order to add the next 3 coats. I also used my walking stick hanging jigs in order to allow them to cure. Okay, so after these bead designs were made, I took a couple of the snipped ends from the crib so I could go ahead and use them for this stamp. And I had a separate block of wood that I was able to use the rubber piece for the stamp in order to apply it to, so I knew what size hole I needed to cut in it. And I was able to use a hole saw in order to cut out that piece of wood. After the circle blank was cut out, I was able to take it to the spindle sander in order to make it nice and smooth, and to chamfer some of the edges so it would look nice. The great thing about using a hole saw in order to cut this out is I had a single hole in the middle that I could apply the bead spindle to. And for the bed frame, I had some leftover nubs. So all I had to do was use a step bit in order to match the size of the spindle. I then cut the spindle to size and sanded the tip of the spindle back to a round shape and glue it together. I used CA glue and accelerant in order to make this job quicker. And finally I added a coat of polyurethane in order to make the whole project shiny. And here it is after the first dunk. It really looks to me like a professional stamp. And now the final reveal and a screw up. So I went ahead and I applied the stamp to the bottom of this, and I applied it and I forgot to mirror the image. This wouldn't be so bad if my logo didn't have writing on it. But with a very lazy and quick fix with video editing, I can mirror this image, but I'm going to have to cut it again in the future. Please consider liking this video and consider subscribing to this channel.